Now, to discuss the massive floods in Pakistan, which have displaced over 33 million people, we're going to talk to Javed Rana, who's a journalist and joins us from Islamabad. Good afternoon, Javed. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
Now, in the province of Sindh, the Dadu district is the worst affected. Over 1 million people live there and are desperate to move to safer areas. Now, how is the government assisting them in this fresh wave of migration?
I think to begin with, we have to understand this is a crisis, humanitarian crisis of epic proportion. The unprecedented in the history of Pakistan. 1/3 of the country is underwater. And the most hit hard is the southern region of Pakistan, of which you just referred about. Dadu is a district of Sindh province. So the point is that all the water, flood water from the northwest of Pakistan and from the southwest of Pakistan, it simply slide down to the Sindh province before it ends up in the Arabian Sea. So we have seen that the kind of crisis that has been created by the flood is not only being unprecedented, but also it requires an unprecedented help from the friendly countries, and more importantly from different organizations inside Pakistan. So far we have seen that Pakistan military, the provincial government, federal government, and more importantly, the social network that Pakistan has. It's a huge social network that Pakistan has. There are social organizations which have been working in Pakistan. Jamaat-e-Islami, one of the opposition party, it has the biggest network of humanitarian help. And I think they are all active in that part of the region. But certainly the role of Pakistan Navy is they are leading it because people have been caught up there in the areas where only Navy can reach. They have the resources. They've been trying to help out people. But given the fact that this is a crisis of an epic proportion, certainly the authorities have not been able to reach everybody who's affected. But so far as we speak, the different NGOs, they are reporting that still the authorities, both social network of Pakistan and the government, they have not been able to reach people beyond 10% in terms of the help that they need. So the 90% people in Pakistan, they still need help. We have to understand there are 33 million people. This is a huge population which has been affected in the southwest, northwest, and the southern province of Pakistan. And there are over 1 million houses, much of them the mud dwelling structure that has collapsed. 0.7 million domestic animals, they have perished. I think what we see on the ground, we will keep on seeing the crisis, but in a different form. There may be a shortage of food in these provinces which have been hit hard, because some of them were the baskets of Pakistan, food basket of Pakistan. I'm talking about the southern Sindh province. The UN Secretary General, he said that it is the crisis, the humanitarian crisis caused by the flood is unimaginable, and the G8 countries, the Western countries, are responsible in terms of climate change. Pakistan's contribution in the climate change is just 1%, is a carbon emissions contribution. But it is one of the country which has been hit hard by the climate change, and climate change is certainly is one of the leading factor which has triggered floods in Pakistan.
Now, Javed, we've spoken to people like yourself before, analysts and journalists as well, about that crisis that's being faced by the country. And what we were told was that a lot of the help was coming from the people. So locals were helping those that they could. There was a very strong sense of solidarity there, because you did say that 90% of the people are yet to be reached by NGOs and government bodies as well. How is this solidarity coming to fruition? Is there much national media coverage on that front? Are we seeing how these people are coming to each other's aid?
Well, I think the Pakistan social network is very strong when it comes to the individual philanthropy. Pakistan is one of the leading countries in the world where people, they are so generous. So social network is there, they are trying to reach, but at the same time, again, we have to understand the people who are caught up in the flood and the people cannot reach there. This is a problematic area, particularly in Sindh. The most active part in flood relief operation are the common people of Pakistan. This is a reality. I mean, yes, there is a brotherly help coming from the friendly countries like Turkey, and again, given the fact that this is a crisis of a epic proportion, therefore, these are the only people of Pakistan who at the end of the day would reach to the common people. But for that to happen, they need to access the roads. And at least 3,500 kilometer long roads, those have been damaged. Hundreds of the bridges have damaged. So this means that the people in Pakistan, they are hugely dependent onto the Pakistan Navy, onto Pakistan military to set up the temporary bridges and to get their help in terms of the boats, so that they can reach them. They are reaching them at their level. But there has been controversy about the provincial government in Sindh that it has not been able to deliver. Somehow or the other in Pakistan's deep internal politics, its image has been tarnished with the misgovernance, with the corruption charges. But nonetheless, I would say that the federal government and more importantly Pakistan military, NGOs, local organizations, the political parties, humanitarian wings, most prominently Al-Khidmat Foundation, I think they are doing a great job in this tough situation. Pakistan's media is partly focused on the flood relief operation, and then there is a politics. The government is more focused on making to politically sideline the opposition leader Imran Khan, and Imran Khan is also at the heart of the controversy that at the same time he's holding public rallies despite the fact that there has been flood. But again, the governments had also their public rallies because they know the general elections are around the corners, maybe within the next couple of months. So it's a kind of a mix-up scenario that is emerging in Pakistan, where the politics has also played a very negative role, the dirty internal politics. The government just last night, I think they did not allow the opposition leader. His fundraising program was not shown by the every television, and there are reports that it was informal ban from the government side. So if an opposition leader is collecting funds, what is the point of not showing him on the television? Because this is in the public interest. So somehow or the other, ironically, dirty politics do play a role in aggravating the crisis.
Okay. All right. Now, moving on, President Erdogan held a phone call with PM Shahbaz Sharif yesterday, where the Turkish leader assured his unwavering support to help with the devastation caused by the floods. Now, what else was discussed between the two leaders, and how much Turkish aid has currently been received by Pakistan?
Certainly, we have seen that the Turkey's help has been very much forthcoming, and both leaders did discuss on how best they can reach to the common people, on what Pakistan needs. That presumably was one of the points which was discussed between two leaders, because it is extremely important that the people in Pakistan, they need, the flood affected people need the dry food and other items which are not perishable, and then they need tents. My understanding is this must have been the agenda when both leaders had this discussion by telephone. And when it comes to Turkey, and frankly speaking, unlike other countries, that Turkey's help has been huge, not only in the past in similar situation when there have been earthquake, and Pakistani people would never forget it. And what we see on the ground, on the Turkish help, their aid, their NGOs working there, I think that is something which people see it in a very, very positive shade.
Okay, now lastly, Javed, so you have partly touched on this, but Pakistan hasn't been fully capable of managing this natural disaster on its own. Now, what's been the response of the international partners and allies, particularly the UN, whose Secretary General has himself witnessed the situation firsthand?
Well, I think what UN Secretary General said is actually portray the facts on ground. And he said that Pakistan is a victim of the climate change. Pakistan's contribution is just hardly 1%, while the countries like G8 countries, they are the responsible, and they should help Pakistan. He has launched a massive appeal, and he has gone to the extent that the international community must consider it. The donor agencies must consider it to write off Pakistan's debt. And Pakistan, though the debt that Pakistan is supposed to pay to the international donor agencies, that should be diverted to these areas, because the crisis is huge, and also to rehabilitate these people, because there are tens of billions of US dollars which are required to rehabilitate these people. And we have heard from the provincial government, they are saying that it will take at least 3 to 6 months to dry up this water, this flood water in the southern Sindh province. So this means this humanitarian crisis is going to linger on, and the help from which is coming from the Western countries, that is frankly is a very meager, and Pakistan needs much more, because the Western countries are particularly responsible in a manner that nobody witnesses. But the fact of the matter is that the climate change has triggered this crisis. These mountains northwest of Pakistan, the mountains, the hills, the ice started melting down in March, which is a generally kind of a spring weather. Then there was no point. The summer starts somewhere around May, June, July. But again, this means that the climate change did play its role, and the international community must understand this. My understanding is that the West would never like Pakistan to economically progress, and they want Pakistan to economically stay dependent onto them. Their help is not going to be as much forthcoming as Pakistani people deserve.
Okay, Javed, thank you so much for joining us on the program. We appreciate your time and analysis there.
The growing tide of anti-Israel sentiments. What you see behind me is just tip of the iceberg of what is happening in the country. More than half of $52 billion black CIA budget is spent on espionage network in Pakistan. How would you handle it?
The US has looked upon Pakistan as an ally at one point, and then as an enemy at the same time.
That is going to be the first legal reason on the basis of which he is going to be instantly ousted by the Supreme Court of Pakistan.
Joining us live, Javed Rana, who's an expert on politics and geostrategic issues.
In the world politics, which is not being driven by any moral principle, it is being driven by the hard geostrategic realities. In a broader picture, more countries would aspire to have nuclear weapons.